What can you do when your spouse feels like your roommate? This is Coach Lee, and I'm going to talk to you about some things you can do to reignite and re-spark your marriage to where it doesn't just feel like you're living with a roommate, but you're actually living with a lover. Number one, understand love progression. So what's going on is a lot of people don't understand that romantic love does not just stay as it is permanently. So when you first meet, you go into something a lot of people call the honeymoon phase. It's basically what's called limerence, which is a psychological phenomenon that was first studied and coined by Dr. Dorothy Tinoff. When a relationship first starts, you go through what a lot of people call the honeymoon phase, which is limerence. And limerence is where the relationship itself, thoughts of this person, interactions with this person create strong chemical highs. And these chemicals primarily are dopamine. You also have oxytocin, vasopressin. They're usually very high when someone is experiencing limerence. And it's addictive. It's something that the highs and the lows draw you into this person. And we can even put people into functional MRI machines and show them a picture of their limerent object, that's the person they're in limerence with, and their brain will fire up like a Christmas tree. It's really something to see how the brain responds to the person that person is in limerence with. And so limerence is a really powerful thing, and it's designed so that you two aren't just strangers, but you actually have motivation to get to know each other, and that there's some sort of fuel to this fire. So you're not just strangers, but limerence is fueling the desire to see each other, for the relationship to grow. And really what it's doing individually, it's causing both people to want intimacy, and they're putting the work in to get to an intimate place. So they're trying to find out the facts and the feelings of this person who they're in limerence with. And limerence is what's fueling that. Otherwise, why would two strangers want to go on a second date or want to meet at all, really? Because they don't even know each other. What is the purpose? It's not a business interaction. It's not two old friends catching up. So why is it that these two strangers who know very little about each other want to meet again and again and keep getting closer and keep growing the relationship and pushing boundaries? It's because of limerence. And a lot of people don't realize that when limerence fades, and it will, usually it's between 2 months and 2 years. So it's sort of a broad scope, but most of the time limerence is gone for the most part within the first year. And you start to develop more mature forms of love, because limerence is a form of love. It is a focused form of romantic love. It doesn't have the companionship love or the feeling of family that you want to develop to. And that's what limerence is actually there to do. It's to give you fuel to get to those other points of love. And when you get there, the limerence fuel is used up, at least in large part. And so you're not going to feel those fireworks for that person forever. It will turn into a companionate type of relationship, and then develops into where there's this feeling of family. And so you feel committed and connected to this person, not just because you have romantic feelings for them, but even beyond that. And that's especially true if you have children together, because that's a very bonding experience for a husband and wife, is to actually procreate life together and to watch those children grow and to participate in their life together. It's an incredible experience for a husband and wife. And sometimes people feel like their spouse is a roommate because they haven't experienced that yet. But basically, a lot of people feel like their spouse is their roommate because they think limerence should just last forever. And you will get passion back. It's not something that has to just be given up and where you would look at it as just impossible to ever come back. That's not true, because we know when couples go on cruises together or vacations to places they haven't been to together, that they actually have some of those chemicals resurface that are associated with limerence. Dopamine, oxytocin, vasopressin, those things tend to come back when you go on a vacation together or do something that just the two of you have never done before. Part of it is because it creates this new environment together, which is similar to the newness of limerence that causes you to chase intimacy. And limerence, as I have said, fuels that. So a lot of people just don't understand that limerence can't last forever, and they begin to think that the relationship is just faded, the love has gone, and that it's doomed and pointless. And that's not true. It's just that love has adapted, love has changed based on your time together, because the limerence chemicals cannot last permanently. It just doesn't work that way. Just like with a lot of other chemicals, You eventually develop a tolerance to it. It does not impact you the same way. And the end of limerence does not mean that the relationship is over. There are things that you can do to reignite some of that passion, but also to embrace the status of the relationship, that it has graduated past the limerence stage and it's actually into forms of love that have stronger foundations than just passion. And this subject could actually be a video on its own. But the basic idea is that just because you're not feeling what you think of as romance, and just because your spouse has that feel of a roommate, at least some of the times, it doesn't mean the marriage is over. It just means that you can't depend on limerence anymore. And that would be true of any relationship. Even if you were to leave this one and go to another, you would still be in the same place as far as limerence would have a shelf life, and it would end at some point and you'd be back to where you are now. So it's best to work on it where you are now, rather than just move to something else, experience limerence for a bit, and be back in the same place that you were. Work with what you have. Focus on your commitment and the person you are committed to and what you have with them. Maybe that's children, maybe that's a home, maybe it's pets. Focus on your life together with them and the history you have with them. Value that. And I'm going to go over some other things that can bring some of the passion back. But just know that just because limerence is gone, it doesn't mean that your marriage is over. Before I get to number 2, get my free mini course on saving a marriage. I'm going to link to it in the description below, or you can just go to marriageradio.com and under the marriage help section, you'll see free mini course. So that's marriageradio.com. Write that down. Hopefully you'll go there after this video. Number 2, reestablish date night. It's so important that you continue to date. That's where the romance is, that you set a time and it's just for the two of you and you do something romantic. You go out to a beautiful, nice dinner, and that's if money is in a good place with you that you can do that. But if you can, it is certainly something that you should prioritize. It should be expected. We're going out this week. There's going to be one night and it's going to be just you and me. Most of the time, couples say they prefer if the man kind of leads this, to where he plans the evening and he tells her, I'm going to be taking you out. We're going out at about 6 o'clock. I'm going to wear a button-down shirt, so dress to match me. It's going to be a great place. And she may say, well, where is it? It's great if you can just say it's a surprise. That's anticipation. It's fun. It does strengthen passion. It brings back some of that. It gives you something to look forward to. And it can be part of what reignites the spark. But go to romantic places. Don't just go to fast food. Don't just go to eat. As a matter of fact, you might even want to have a snack before you go so that your only focus is not on the meal, but on conversation and on flirting with your spouse. It should not be about eating. It should be on the conversation and the experience with your spouse. And of course, ideally, it would be more than just dinner. A concert, rock climbing, roller skating, a driving range, or going to a movie, which we don't do as much as we used to. But something where 2 events is great, where you go from one place to the other. And if the man or whoever plans the date that night, because it shouldn't always be him, sometimes you should swap it out, but basically say, we're going somewhere after this. Where are we going? It's a surprise. Do you see how it helps keep anticipation there, which is certainly part of passion? It's even part of limerence, is the anticipation of it. But it's also fun. It's eventful. It's exciting. It's not just we're going to grab a bite to eat and come back home. So date night should be something that you continue to do and that you look forward to and you plan. You don't just walk over to your spouse at the end of the day and say, well, where do you want to eat? Have a plan. One of you needs to take that up and be the planner, because important events are planned. They're not just at the last minute asking each other, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? That's not going to work for what you want to accomplish. You want a date. This is not just you two are going out to eat. This is a romantic evening together. So focus on it and give it the priority that it deserves. It will help where you don't feel just that this person is your roommate, but it will take some time as well. So give it some time to actually work, but reestablish date night, or establish it if you've never had it before. It's important. You can do this by yourself or you can do this with your spouse, but get out old pictures of the two of you and try to remember those times. Remember what you felt. You'll probably even remember some of the thoughts that you had about your spouse. Remember how your attraction was high, how you anticipated the future and you looked forward to it and you couldn't wait to be alone with your person. Look at the pictures. Remember those times, because it will help you actually even feel some of the limerence spark here and there, though it won't be permanent. It won't come back permanently, but you will be able to have some of those moments. And you can also realize that just because those faded, that you two have grown. And even if it's not just the absolute perfect marriage where the two of you read each other's minds and count the stars together, usually you can look at the other person and say, my, how you've grown, because it's kind of interesting when you grow up together in some ways and you see how this person has changed for the better. And of course, it won't always be changes for the better, but focus on those. A lot of this is based on where your focus is. And so in this point, you're going to focus on those memories and those pictures and what you felt for that person in that time. And it can be an interesting mental and emotional exercise that can help you feel some of those things you're wanting to feel. It can help reignite some of those sparks. Look at the old pictures. Seriously, don't just look over this one. Actually do it. It will probably surprise you what you'll feel as you do this. Number 4, I mentioned this in a lot of marriage videos, but it's very important, and that is commit to sexual fulfillment for both of you. It should be something that's important, that's prioritized, that's not just left to chance. It should be where you put a lot of thought and focus, and that you even prepare. So you don't want to be tired for this event, so do what you need to do to rest prior if possible. You don't want to have just had an argument when maybe you two had thought and planned that you could have sex. So try, especially on that day, as I talk about in a lot of other videos, be peace. Do not bicker. Don't start a fight. Avoid the negatives. You need to really be careful with the person that you're with. That's super important. Treat them with care, because if you two have a lot of negative experiences, based on research, it takes 6 or 7 positive experiences just to balance it out. So for every 1 negative, it takes 6 or 7 positives just to balance it out. So stay away from those, especially during that time when you're going to make love and you know that it's coming. Make sure that those days, those evenings, that hour, that it's not going to be lost to a disagreement or an argument or something just super negative. You can help it. It will take some time before you feel the full benefits of this, but this can help bring back the passion that you miss from limerence. And it can certainly help you to not feel that your spouse is a roommate, but actually to feel that they are a lover and that this is a romantic relationship. But if you haven't been, and you're feeling this way, and you say, well, I need to feel this way in order for that to happen, that's not how it works. At this stage, when you have had intimacy with someone, you have been having sex with them, you are going to have to actually go in the opposite direction, which means you prioritize sex and the other feelings will come. The feelings, the romantic feelings of wanting to do that will come back. But you have to work from this direction first in order to reestablish those and to get those going again. So prioritize fulfilling your spouse sexually. Number 5, don't mistake peace for boredom. Just because you two are in a situation where you have peace, where you have stability, those are things that actually should be valued, but a lot of times people mistake those things for boredom because there's not a lot of negatives. And it is true that if your spouse was not loyal to you, or you two did not have this foundation and this structure that gives you stability, that it might feel more exciting, but exciting is not always a good thing. A lot of people report being in a car wreck, and they would call that excitement, but it's certainly not the excitement that you want. And so do your best to appreciate and not take for granted a stable foundation with your partner who you can trust. Don't mistake it for boredom. Remember to get my free mini course on saving your marriage. It's at marriageradio.com under the Marriage Help tab. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.